Hey guys and girls, I'm James and welcome to my channel. Today we're taking a look at the brand new just released Holystone HS710. It's this price on Amazon right now, but if you look, it's $20 off and I've got a 10% off discount code. So this is the new Holystone in the lineup and they've really been putting a lot of drones out. If you ever use their customer support, it's the best in the industry, but this one's really cool looking. Kind of looks like an alien head on the front, kind of like an Inspire 2. And I love the look of this drone. So 3 months ago, they put out the new version of the 700, the 700E, which is my favorite drone by Holystone so far because it's so stable in the air, lots of fun to fly, 4K camera, and the performance of this drone is just the best that they've ever done. So last month they put out the HS440, which is the mini version of the 720E, which is their most popular drone ever. But this thing's a blast to fly and it's a great price. So then a few months ago, they came out with a newer version of the 175 and they put it in black over gray and they came out with brushless motors, 4K camera. But this one's at the same almost price point as this one. And let me tell you why I like this one so much more. It's got intelligent batteries. So if you look at the back of it, it lights up when you push the button. It seems to have a much better camera. The camera looks more like the ones that come in the 700 and the 720. But one of the most important things to me is the controller. It uses the same controller as the 700 and 720, so it has a lit up screen and it's much easier to use the functions and performance of this drone over the 175 controller. And as always, Holystone gives you these great bags that come in. This is the first one I've ever seen that has a handle. So it comes with 2 batteries, extra props, and 2 chargers. So where does this cool looking little drone fit in their new lineup of all the drones they put out? Well, let's go put her up in the air and find out. But before we do that, let's go over the functions of the drone, the remote, and how to get it up in the air and get it calibrated. All right guys, let's see what she weighs in at. First, she weighs in at right at 249 grams with the stickers off. So that's exactly what it needs to be under the FAA requirements to register it. So it's right in line with the DJI Mini at 249. But that puts it way heavier than the new HS710D. So how much is 250 grams? It's about the same as a good sized banana. So it comes with this really nice case made of good material, very solid, great zipper. First one I've seen that comes with this pleather handle. Really like it. So you open it up. It actually comes with this nice cover that you can put in there, but it has the drone and extra battery. I love the remote. It's the remote of my favorite drone, which is the 700E by Holystone, and this also is the 720E remote. So it doesn't use the remote of the 175D. I'll explain a little bit more about this later. So like I said, it comes with an extra battery. Be sure and keep these little slide things that are on here, so when you put the battery in the drone, when you're storing it, so it's not locked in, because you don't want these connectors connected to the battery in the drone at all times. It's good to leave one of these on there when you stick it in the drone. So it comes with a handy dandy screwdriver. It comes with extra props, and what's important about these props, it comes with 4 of them, that they have an A and B on them. So if you look on here real closely, it'll have A1 or B2. And when you pull the drone out, when it's time to replace the blades and you look at it, you see that they're labeled A and B. So just make sure you get the right ones on the motors. So it comes with 2 chargers for the batteries. And look at these chargers. Gone are the days of these big clunky chargers because these are intelligent batteries. What I mean by that is you just plug it straight into the wall, into the C connector, and it's an intelligent battery. So when you press it, it'll tell you how much is charged up while it's flying. You gotta hold it down and it'll tell you that it's all the way fully charged. So it also comes with a really nice instruction book, and what you want to do is open it up to right here to the QR code, open up the camera on your iPad, or I use my phone, but I'm just using my iPad for demonstrations. You open it up and it's the Ophelia Go app and you download it. So what you do next is you turn the drone on by a long press on the battery. The lights will come on. The first time you turn the remote on, every time, what you want to do is hold down on the red button and slide it over. So once you have this turned on, you want to go back to your iPad or your phone, go to your Wi-Fi. See Holystone? You got to do this every single time or it'll fly away. And once it's connected, go back, open up the app, and hit Enter Device. So this is an instructional page it pulls up to return to home page, your status, your GPS signal, your remote control battery level, your signal strength, your settings, your photos. You push this button to switch back and forth between photos, your camera settings, and your focal length. then you want to hit home, and it'll show you your multifunctions, your one turn, return home, your key to take off, which is also on the remote. All of this is your map, your distance, and your altitude. So up here where it says Geomagnum calibration, what you want to do is hit this envelope. And that's what's going to take you into it. So you're going to hold the drone, you're going to spin it 3 times, and then it's going to tell you to go heads up and spin it 3 times again. That helps it set the GPS. Then it's calibrated. See up here it says weak GPS signal. That's because we're inside, but you see our signal strengths, and we'll go over. So in here it's got follow me, orbit flight, and headless mode. Don't ever use headless mode, but we'll test the orbit flight and the follow me when we take it out. So return to home and take off. So on our camera settings, here's where we switch from 2.5 to 4K. I suggest shooting in 2.5K. 4K takes up so much energy. And then here's your frames per second is actually, you can change it. So here we're at 60 frames per second, and I'll do 24 frames per second. Shows how much storage you have left. Up here's your brightness and your color saturation. So restore, yeah, I'd rather have it defaulted to that. I don't know what it had. And man, you can even suggest change your ISO. What ISO means is when it starts to get dark, you want to pull it up. But I mean, I wouldn't mind, we can just leave it on automatic. So you can change your white balance, just leave it in default. So that's something you want to play around with until you really get the hang of what it's doing. The camera's really good, even at 2.4K. So here's the zoom. Man, that's gonna be really nice. And on the remote, you can move the gimbal up and down with the wheel right here. So on the remote, if you're ever flying and it's flying towards a pond, you can hit this button and that'll stop the motors. This is your takeoff button. On this side is your photo button. Short press is a photo, long press starts the video. This doesn't do anything here. And then you pull up here and your phone goes here. This is your return to home button. And then everything's pretty, I love this LED screen. This shows the signal strength on the side, the drone battery, the remote battery, how many GPSs, your distance, your height, and of course mode 2. And it's in low speed. So if you want to switch it to high speed, you go up here and hit this switch up here. So also, under settings, under safety, you can pick between metric or imperial. And this is beginner mode. This will make it run, in the beginning you want to try to use this and it'll have all these default parameters. But one thing I don't like would be the return to home. The default is 15 meters. So that's about 45 feet high. So if you've got trees higher than 45 feet, this needs to go up. I would put this up to about in the middle. And then your max altitude is 120, which is 400. Your default, your distance, you can change that. So you don't want it past, that's 400 meters. That's pretty far. And so your max altitude is 120. So on the battery, you can see that it's a 1820 milliwatt amp per battery compared to like 2800 for the 700E, and then the 175D would be at 1700. So take some time and really familiarize yourself with the manual. And one thing you really want to do is start a pre-start checklist. If you want one from me, drop me a line and I'll give you one, but really it's important to have your own. That way you wrote it and you know what needs to be done before you put the drone up in the air. So it is a 2-axis gimbal with the 4K camera, and your SD card goes right here. You pop that in and out like there. So on the camera, it goes up and down, so it's only a 2-axis gimbal. It does seem to have some image stabilization into it, but you may say wishing you had a 4-axis gimbal. But if you look, so on these drones, that's the first thing that breaks is these 3-axis gimbals. So be careful what you wish for. This is more of a beginner-based drone, but even though it flies very well, but the camera is very well protected. It can go up and down. So it takes great photos, but you're going to get some jello and some movement in when you're trying to take video. Unless it's really, there's no wind out there and you know how to fly it perfectly. All right, let's go put her up in the air. All right, you got to hold down for a minute for it to switch into speed 2. really pretty windy out here. You can see it fight the wind. All right, guys, it's a little too windy to be using the sound from the outside drone footage, so I'm just going to talk. Of course, the picture on the left-hand side, that's not synced to the drone, and I shot it in 720, so it's able to shoot in 4K, but really without a 3-axis gimbal, I mean, you're not trying to get great footage anyway. You're just trying to get some scenes. You can work with it. You see a little bit of jello, a little bit of shakiness to it. It takes really good pictures. I'll show you that in a little bit. Here I come up to the drone. So it's a GPS drone, so it's going to hold its position. So I'm going to walk up to it. I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to pull on it, and it's going to fight me. It's going to go, when I let go, it's going to go right back to where it was. That's what a GPS drone does. It actually locks into the signal, and that's how it keeps wherever you're telling it to go to. And the same with every drone. The first time you fly it, it's going to have a different personality than the ones before. It'll have its own little quirkiness, how fast it turns, if there's any latency. This didn't seem to have any latency at all. Doesn't seem to want to spin real fast. Like I said, the circle mode worked really good. The follow mode worked really good. It's having a little bit of problem with the waypoints, but I didn't spend much time on it. I don't think I'd ever use that anyway on a drone unless I'm trying to get some really good footage, but without a 3-axis gimbal, I'm not going to do that. So as far as the distance that this will fly, I mean, I wouldn't take it past 300 meters, or that's 900 feet. That's beyond visual line of sight anyway, which is legally you're supposed to keep it to where you can see the drone. This drone being so small, you know, it's hard to see anyway, so you can't go beyond that anyway. So always keep it in your line of sight. So it takes about an hour to charge the batteries, and you get about 20 minutes of flight time, which is really good. Also, when you go out and you first connect it outside and you're waiting for the GPS signals to come in for the satellites, that actually takes a long time. I mean, it seems like a long time because you're sitting there staring at your drone. It takes a minute or two, and it needs at least, I think, 7. You'll see 3 or 4 come up and it'll say weak GPS signal. You got to wait till that bar turns green, and you'll look down and you'll have 11, 17 satellites, something like that. Don't take off until you've got your GPS and your Wi-Fi connected. Also, this drone is 249 grams, so if you do anything to it, it's going to put it over. Like here, I attached a water pontoons to it off the DJI Mini, and I'd used 2 Velcro straps to connect to it. Didn't seem to affect it at all. Actually, it seemed like it flew a little bit better with a little bit of weight, but that takes it over the 249 grams. If you do that, then you need to register it with the FAA, and then you got to take those numbers and mark them on the drone where they're visible. I have to do it on all my drones because I have a Part 107 license. Also, if you're flying drones and you haven't taken in the United States and you haven't taken your trust test, I'll be making a video on that soon. One thing too that Holystone's really improved on that I had a lot of problems with, 3 years ago with the original 700 is the connectivity. It just seemed it would work half the time and it wouldn't work half the time. It wouldn't want to load on your phone. The app wouldn't want to connect. This performed flawlessly, just like the last 3 I've had. They really connect really, really quick, which makes it so much more enjoyable to fly. One thing too with the Wi-Fi drone, you don't have to take a wire and stick it to your phone because it connects to the Wi-Fi to your phone. So here I'm landing it again. Again, if you want, those are only like $20 on Amazon, and it didn't fit perfect for like I said, it came off the Mini. So this is actually my 3rd day of flying it, and every day I fly it, I get more confidence with it. When you first get a drone, as with any drone your first day, you're going to have some hesitation to it. You're not going to trust it, but every time you plop a new battery in it and start all over, you're going to trust it more and more. Also, every time you plop a new battery in it, you got to start all over with your pre-start checklist. Very easy to And here's what I attached to it in the beginning when you see the really cool shot of the drone from the front. I attached an Instago 360 to it. Very simple. I just used some 2-sided tape with a little hot shoe mount, and it worked flawlessly. I mean, that thing doesn't weigh hardly anything, and the drone didn't even know it was there. So that's also another way to get some really cool shots with drones. So the easiest way to hand land it is to hit the land button on the app, which will be on your phone, and it's right next to the return to home button, and they look almost identical. So it'll take you a little while to get used to all the different functions on it. So study, don't panic, familiarize yourself with the app, the manual, the drone, the controller. The more you know about it, the more confidence you'll have, and the less chances that you have of hurting the drone yourself and maybe someone else. So be safe out there, and thanks so much for watching. Here's my final review on the drone, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Again, thanks for watching. So thanks so much for watching my review of the new Holystone HS710. Good little drone for the money, around the $200 price point, which I really like this drone way better than the 175D. So if you're considering between the two, I would much more lean towards this one. And it puts it in the price point right in the middle of the HS440 that they just came out with, and the 700 and 720. So if the 200 is all you can afford, this is a great drone. If you can afford a little bit more, I would lean towards the 300. And even at that price point, you're starting to get close to the new just released DJI Mini SE. So thanks so much for watching. If you got something out of this, please like and subscribe. Subscribers mean everything to me in this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.